Hi, this is Mika from Go Big Coaching, and today we're talking about goal setting and goal achieving. I personally focus more on habits than on goals, but of course I do have goals, and so I wanted to share my approach today. My approach has two elements. One is I want my goals to be in alignment, and secondly, I want my goals to be achievable. It sounds like a bit of a no-brainer, but let me explain that. What I mean by goals in alignment is I want my goals to align with my priorities. This way they make sense for what I'm doing, and I don't need to rely on willpower or motivation to work on them. And achievable, pretty simple. I don't want to get stuck in a worry cycle where I finally feel frustrated and bad about myself because I'm too far from the goal I've set for myself. So those 2 points. Let's start with goals that are in alignment. So personally, I have a vision 2022, and that vision is more exciting. My goals are usually not that exciting. That I prefer to have an exciting vision and have practical, reasonable goals. A little more pragmatic. And as I move closer to my vision, those things become my goals. But I don't want to write out like a gazillion steps. Even I love lists, but I like to keep it more manageable. So the priorities on my vision are, I have 3 priorities on that vision. And so my personal business priorities right now are to increase my reach, to fine-tune my offer of services, and to build my brand. So let's take podcasting as an example. I am addicted to a lot of podcasts, and I love to be on other people's podcasts, so I might want one myself. So when I look at those 3 priorities, increasing my range, building my brand, refining my services, a podcast would be in alignment with definitely 2, maybe even 3 of those priorities. So from that perspective, there's a go. I can go ahead and spend more time thinking about this idea of having a podcast. But the second step I have with alignment here is like that I check a little more generally, not only with business, that's a go, but I think about, okay, what are my priorities in terms of creativity, relationships, and health? Of course, sticking with the podcast example, creativity is a go. Absolutely. Sure, that would inspire me, and I can totally see having fun with this. But there's relationships and health. And what I have defined as my current relationship and health goals are to take 2 days off a week, spend more time with my loved ones, and to work on 8 hours of sleep. Solid sleep, hopefully, because I've had a little trouble with sleep, and so this is something I really want to focus on right now. So adding another huge project to my plate will not support those goals at all. It's kind of like those red flags come immediately on. So running through those tests, I can see that a podcast is a good idea, would support many of my goals, would be fun and inspire me, but it is not the right time because right now I need to slow down a little and take time for my loved ones and for enough sleep. So it has to wait. I'll reevaluate. Second step of my goal setting process is my goal achievable? So that is really where I ask myself, how do I rate the likelihood of me meeting my goal? On a scale from 1, ooh, not at all actually, to 10, I'm almost there. I personally say I want my goals to be a 7, maybe even higher. But a 7 is a pretty confident approach. It's like, yeah, I can do this. It might be a little bit of a stretch goal, the 7 especially. The 8 or 9, of course, that's really just go ahead and do it. A stretch goal is fine if you have the capacity for that right now. But remember that it's a stretch goal. It's not a dislocate your shoulder reaching type of goal. Yeah. So I feel if my confidence is at a level 6 or lower, I might have to think about it again. Personally, so it might be that my goal is too big, that it's more part of my vision, so I can keep it a little longer, wait a little longer. Or it might be a goal I don't even want to reach. At that point, be honest with yourself. If it's a should goal, kill it. But relatively often, the low number of likelihood that I feel like I can achieve a goal, that might be due to my mindset. I just can't visualize it yet. And so at that point, I asked myself a couple more questions, and often enough that helps me see myself reaching my goal, and then I can actually put it on my list. So the first question is, why is it important to me? Why do I want to reach that goal? Then, equally important, how would it make me feel to achieve it? How will it make me feel? And then also, is there anything I need to start doing to get there? Stop doing. What may be holding me back? Which support will I need? And then I divide, if I can answer these questions to my satisfaction, get myself to a 7, then I plan my goal out in 3 baby steps, preferably one that I can take immediately. And last but not least, I check if it's a SMART goal. So a SMART goal is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-framed. And that is basically my entire goal setting process, which is a really complicated thing in the beginning, but it gets easier, and that helps me to achieve a lot of my goals. And if you are interested in that process, I have a nice worksheet. It's free. If you subscribe to my newsletter, you can download this successful goal setting worksheet. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. If you liked it, share it with your friends, leave me a like, leave me a comment, and follow me on Instagram. I post daily with more tips and little stories, so I'd like to connect with you there. This was it for today. I am Mika, and I'm here to help you go big.